药店是怎么密密麻麻开遍街头。
How did pharmacies manage to open up everywhere on the streets? According to statistics, there were 688,000 pharmacies in China in 2023, with an average of 120 new ones opening every day. In contrast, there have only been 410,000 tea shops opening in recent years. So, why are there more pharmacies than tea shops? This all started with the medical reform implemented in 2017. The core change of this reform was the cancellation of drug price markups, registration fees and consultation fees, and the establishment of a medical service fee. This reform meant that many patients now had multiple options for getting their prescriptions filled. They could either buy their medicine at the hospital or at pharmacies in the market. Once this opportunity opened up, pharmacies started booming. In 2021, with the implementation of the dual-channel policy, more compliant medical institutions and retail pharmacies were included in the medical insurance network. With the support of medical insurance, offline pharmacies began to see significant revenue. As a result, pharmacy chains entered an era of rapid expansion. Additionally, the National Medical Products Administration removed the restriction on the distance between pharmacies, allowing them to choose their locations more freely. This is why we see the bizarre phenomenon of a dozen pharmacies on a single street. The unregulated expansion of pharmacies has led to the rise of numerous private chain pharmacy giants. However, the emergence of these private pharmacies has clearly threatened the profits of the CCP-controlled medical system, catching the attention of high-ranking CCP officials. Consequently, following anti-corruption actions in the healthcare sector, pharmacies have recently become a high-risk industry. Recently, news that Xie Zilong, chairman of Chinese chain pharmacy giant LBX Pharmacy, was detained and put under investigation by CCP authorities caused a market shock. The announcement did not specify the reasons for the investigation, but emphasized that it was not directly related to the company's business. It also confirmed that the company had not received any notification from relevant authorities nor been asked to assist in the investigation. Despite LBX Pharmacy stressing that other directors, supervisors, and senior management personnel were still performing their duties as usual, the market could not ignore Xie Zilong's crucial role in the company's strategic decisions and daily operations. Following the announcement, LBX Pharmacy's stock continued to decline for several days. As of the close of trading on August 1st, 2024, the company's stock price had fallen to 13.5 yuan, approximately $1.9 per share. Xie Zilong is the founder and current chairman of LBX Pharmacy. Previously, he also served as the company's CEO. Public records show that LBX Pharmacy was founded in 2001 and is headquartered in Changsha, Hunan province. It is a large-scale pharmaceutical chain enterprise integrating drug retail, wholesale, and manufacturing. In 2001, Xie Zilong opened the first LBX Pharmacy store in Changsha, and over a decade later, the company successfully listed on the A-shares market, becoming known as the first private pharmacy stock. In the following years, LBX Pharmacy, along with chains like Yixintang, Yifeng Pharmacy, Da Shenlin, and Guoji Health, began rapid expansion. Today, LBX Pharmacy has become one of the leading pharmaceutical retail chains in China. By the end of 2023, the company's chain network, excluding alliances, covered 18 provincial markets and over 150 prefecture-level cities across the country, with a total of over 13,500 stores nationwide. In 2023 alone, the company added almost 3,400 new stores, employing 50,000 people. Xie Zilong has long been considered a leading figure in the chain pharmacy industry. He pioneered the low-cost drug supermarket business model nationwide, reducing distribution channels and operating costs, which once lowered drug prices in Changsha by about 20%, sparking a nationwide wave of drug price cuts. As a result, LBX Pharmacy grew from a single private pharmacy in Changsha to a leading enterprise in China's pharmaceutical retail industry. Xie Zilong's business success earned him greater social prestige. In 2013, he was elected chairman of the Hunan Photographers Association. 4 years later, the Xie Zilong Photography Art Museum in Changsha, Hunan, was completed and opened. It is reported that the art museum was personally funded by Xie Zilong with an investment of 150 million yuan. 10 days before the confirmation of his detention, Xie Zilong made a public appearance at a photography event. According to Hunan Daily, on the morning of July 20th, 2024, the 6th Member Representative Conference of the Hunan Veteran Photographers Association was held in Changsha, where Xie Zilong attended as Vice Chairman of the China Photographers Association, Vice Chairman of the Hunan Provincial Federation of Literary and Art Circles, and Chairman of the Hunan Photographers Association. In June 2022, LBX Pharmacy became the first chain pharmacy in China to enter the 10,000 store era, a term referring to a company's milestone of reaching the threshold of opening 10,000 stores. However, a series of potential crises under its vast retail system soon emerged. Firstly, the company's performance growth began to slow down. In 2022, LBX Pharmacy's revenue surpassed 20 billion yuan for the first time. In 2023, the company achieved revenue of 22.4 billion yuan, an increase of 11.2% year-on-year. In the first quarter of 2024, the company's operating income was 5.5 billion yuan, with a year-on-year growth of only 1.8%, indicating a decline in revenue growth rate. Secondly, rapid expansion led to management issues, causing multiple subsidiaries to be fined for regulatory violations. These violations included non-compliant medical device instructions and labels, selling substandard drugs, illegal prescription drug advertising, and price gouging by bundling sales of traditional Chinese influenza medication Lianhua Jingwen capsules, among other incidents. Recently, the chain pharmacy industry has been embroiled in continuous turmoil. In 2023, Xie Zilong, one of the actual controllers of leading chain pharmacy Dashenlin Pharmaceuticals, was criminally detained for bribery and sentenced to 3 years and 6 months in prison, with a fine of 500,000 yuan. Consequently, Dashenlin faced a significant downturn. In May 2024, Yixintang Pharmaceutical, known as the first stock of chain pharmacies, was interviewed by the National Healthcare Security Administration for issues such as drug swapping and excessive prescriptions, causing losses to the medical insurance fund. Now, Xie Zilong's detention casts another shadow over the industry. In fact, this year many insiders have considered the retail pharmacy market a key area for rectification. With the intense economic competition in China, the early 2024 anti-corruption campaign in the healthcare sector targeted senior management of several state-owned and private hospitals. Now, the focus has shifted to retail pharmacies. Experts believe the authorities may have several reasons for this crackdown. Number 1. Political reasons. The CCP's internal anti-corruption efforts in the healthcare sector are aimed at weakening previous chairman Jiang Zemin's political faction. A former Beijing lawyer and the Canadian chairman of the Federation for a Democratic China, Lai Jianping, believes that the investigation may involve political factors, as the CCP often fabricates charges against individuals during purges. Since the CCP has not yet specified the exact charges against Xie Zilong, this suggests that the related accusations are still under consideration, making political motives a possibility. It is understood that during the anti-corruption campaign in the medical sector from March to April 2024, at least 33 key figures were investigated or dealt with, including Tian Wei, an academician of the Chinese Academy of Engineering and former party secretary and president of Beijing Jishuitan Hospital. Analysts suggest that this purge, driven by internal conflicts and power struggles, is approaching the core interests of Jiang Mianheng, son of former CCP leader Jiang Zemin. The CCP authorities are escalating the crackdown on the pharmaceutical and biomedical system deeply controlled by Jiang Mianheng. A political commentator and independent scholar residing in California State, USA, Wu Zuo, said the root cause of corruption lies in the CCP treating healthcare as an industry without a spirit of service for so many years. Healthcare corruption is inevitably a collusion between officials and businesses, but the greater corruption is the CCP's dual-track healthcare system. Senior CCP officials enjoy unlimited healthcare benefits, consuming 70 to 80% of national healthcare resources. Therefore, while anti-corruption efforts seem to align with public sentiment and can somewhat curb corruption, they also conceal the largest corruption issue: the dual or multiple healthcare systems, where different people receive different healthcare treatments, causing widespread healthcare difficulties for the public. Number 2. The medical insurance gap is widening, and when the government lacks funds, they target ordinary citizens or chain pharmacies. In February 2023, large-scale protests erupted in Wuhan, Hubei province, over reduced medical subsidies. Many citizens believe this decision was made due to local fiscal pressures following the zero-COVID policy. In Wuhan, the current medical insurance reform involves transferring a large portion of funds from individual medical insurance accounts to the medical insurance pooling fund. Some retired seniors who used to buy medicine at nearby pharmacies using their medical insurance cards now find that about 2/3 of their personal account funds have been cut. To use their medical insurance, they have to go to hospital outpatient clinics, which involves registration, queuing, and payment, consuming time and energy. Additionally, there is a minimum amount for reimbursement. On Chinese social media platform Weibo, some users expressed the view that the medical insurance deficit is inevitable and there will be more adjustments in the future. Some people questioned whether the zero-COVID policy over the past 3 years accelerated the insurance gap because, quote, there's no such thing as a free lunch. Users also expressed dissatisfaction that when the government lacks funds, they target ordinary citizens, while retired cadres still enjoy 100% reimbursement for outpatient services. Comments included, they're eyeing the little money on the people's medical insurance cards. When will the cadres' wards be reformed? Furthermore, the recent adjustments to the basic medical insurance for employees in Wuhan have not affected the medical insurance for civil servants in Wuhan, sparking further suspicion. Some users noted that similar medical insurance reforms have already begun in other major cities as well. In 2022, 19 million people withdrew from China's medical insurance system. Given the lack of economic recovery in 2023, the number of withdrawals is expected to increase this year. During the pandemic, the zero-COVID policy incurred significant costs and economic deterioration led to a massive wave of insurance withdrawals. Facing financial crises, local governments across China adjusted the medical insurance system and increased costs in 2023, causing widespread dissatisfaction among Chinese citizens, especially the elderly. As the Chinese economy worsened, many families saw their incomes drop, resulting in millions opting out of medical insurance. This phenomenon highlights China's economic issues and points to inadequate medical insurance coverage. The Chinese government appears unwilling to invest further in this social safety net, leading to a significant gap. Meanwhile, since 2024, China's National Healthcare Security Administration has intensified its regulation of the retail pharmacy industry. According to CCTV News, issues like drug swapping and excessive prescriptions in some retail pharmacies caused losses to the medical insurance fund. In response, the National Healthcare Security Administration announced on June 2, 2024 that it would enhance supervision of designated retail pharmacies. This includes ensuring standardized operations from the beginning of fund usage and increasing inspection efforts. The administration aims to crack down on fraudulent activities, such as fake medicine purchases and the resale of medical insurance drugs, by leveraging information from various regulation departments. Subsequently, many regions across the country launched pharmaceutical retail price comparison platforms, such as Shuzhou Drug Price Connect by the Shuzhou Healthcare Security Administration and similar platforms by the Shaanxi and Inner Mongolia Healthcare Security Administrations. These developments indicate that the chain pharmacy industry is facing more stringent compliance challenges, particularly in drug management and the use of medical insurance funds. Previously, retail pharmacies exploited medical insurance funds by inflating drug prices through multiple distribution channels. However, this practice is becoming increasingly unsustainable and the industry is poised for further significant adjustments. Number 3. Xie Zilong's pharmacy business model has harmed the CCP's core interests. Xie Zilong's low-cost pharmacy business model captured market share, impacting the CCP-controlled medical and pharmaceutical industries while also bringing them fame and fortune. The CCP perceived low-cost pharmacies as a threat to their economic, political, and public interests, leading to a crackdown. A former Shanghai entrepreneur, Hu Liren, now residing in the United States, stated that retail pharmacies are a focal point because the CCP has been raising drug prices continuously. Low-cost pharmacies disrupted the entire drug market by undercutting high-priced drugs. This is the real reason behind the CCP's crackdown on these pharmacies. In fact, the CCP employs similar tactics in other industries as well. Lai Jinping noted that actually these chain pharmacies have essentially threatened the CCP's core financial interests. They formed a competitive relationship with state-owned pharmaceutical and medical enterprises, squeezing their profits and becoming a thorn in the authorities' side. This enraged the CCP, prompting the crackdown on these pharmacies. This is the fundamental reason for these current actions. Number 4. The trend of increasing state ownership by CCP authorities. Hu Liren believes that many private enterprises in China are currently facing the threat of state takeover by CCP authorities. He stated that this is a major trend, similar to the public-private partnerships implemented by the CCP in the early 1950s. Many business owners could face investigations as a result. In 1953, Wang Kangnian, the 29-year-old owner of Dagang Pharmacy, was executed on fabricated charges of selling fake medicine and defrauding the People's Volunteer Army of huge sums for purchasing medicine. He became a symbol of the evil, unlawful capitalist in China back then. Later, he was depicted as a villain in the novel Morning in Shanghai, which reflects the socialist transformation of the business community in early 1950s Shanghai. The founder of the famous Guansheng Yuan brand in Shanghai, Xian Guansheng, also ended his life under similar circumstances. It is said that the then mayor of Shanghai, Chen Yi, would leisurely ask his secretary every evening, "How many paratroopers are there again today?" referring to the number of capitalists who had jumped to their deaths. While tightening political control, the economic constraints on capitalists are also becoming increasingly heavy. The government sets obstacles in areas like bank loans, raw material procurement, product marketing, and even taxes, industrial and commercial administration, fire safety, and hygiene. Trade unions actively organize workers to fight against capitalists, constantly demanding higher wages, which significantly increases operational costs and squeezes profits, making it difficult for many businesses to continue. Under immense pressure, many business owners lost confidence in continuing their operations and hoped to overcome difficulties by transitioning to public-private partnerships, thus offloading the burden of running their businesses. Overseas political commentator Jiang Feng pointed out that only a planned economy can achieve control over society as a whole. Free private enterprises encourage a free market economy, which stands in direct opposition to totalitarianism, so the CCP must restrict private enterprises at all costs. Additionally, historian Song Yongyi believes that Xi Jinping's intention is to revert to the planned economy, public-private partnerships, and people's communes of Mao Zedong's era, which would quickly lead to economic decline. In 2021, Voice of America reported that in the 1950s, the CCP launched a public-private partnership movement targeting national entrepreneurs, forcibly acquiring private enterprise shares and transferring private property to state ownership. 70 years later, the storm of joint state-private ownership is returning. After the Chinese authorities issued the call for common prosperity, analysts at American investment bank Goldman Sachs wrote in a report that in an extreme scenario, private enterprises could be nationalized or subject to regulated profitability. The rise and fall of tech giant Tencent in recent years has already set the stage for this state ownership movement.